So, it has been 1 month since Tomodachi Life Living the Dream had been released to the public. And yeah, the game is pretty fun. I had like 165 hours in the game, which is around 1 week, and it goes to show how fun the game is. In the 3DS entry, you would usually solve problems, put your Mii's into wacky scenarios like singing in concerts, answering in quirky questions, and such. But in Living the Dream, I think the main goal of the game is customization, judging by the amount of things you can do on the island. I was pretty much hoping the game to have a sequel like 4 years ago, and then in 2025, we finally got confirmation that there's going to be a new entry. I played it, and yes, it's quite fun. But I can't help but miss some aspects of the 3DS entry on what gave it its charm. I like how the Mii still speak in the text to speech form, and also the wackiness of the cutscenes and the dreams, but I could relate to this to you guys. Ever notice that you start to skip those because you have already seen it before? That's what I started to see myself doing nowadays. Because it's like, once you have already seen that dream, you start to skip it. Well, except if you're really creative with the custom items, you can probably anticipate something like the UFO sucking up your treasure or food, for example. I can say the same with befriending chats. Because I think I have seen every acceptance and rejection dialogues, and I indeed do wish that there's more variety to those as well. Like we have seen it with people, things, activities, and topics. It's probably just me putting in safe things and not putting things like gooning or any controversial stuff. I didn't find the people putting in controversial stuff like JE or CK funny though. Heck, any bad historical things as well. The lack of content sharing was quite a bummer as well. I feel like maybe we do not even know what the internet would do, like probably create weird stuff with Palette House and even me's as well. I've seen multiple instances of it, and I think it could be prevented by these things. For one, the game developers should make use of the parental controls where kids aren't allowed to import or export content, or even share images out there. People have been doing it with a capture card, so it's not even helping either. If people can share it anyways, yeah, the attempts are futile, and you can just let people upload screenshots and whip. The other is when the me or creation sharing sites would moderate any offensive submissions based on their own regulations and such. But obviously, since the game is blowing up everywhere now, it would be difficult. Imagine how many people would be paying for Nintendo Switch Online with that, the same way they did with Miitopia with the me sharing. But nope, people had to use chips like the RP2040 Zeros to replicate them, and they had to pay a cost as well. At least it might be cheaper than buying the Nintendo Switch 2 edition if it ever gets announced. The online problems aside, let's get into the problems with the actual games as well. I think the gameplay is fun, but once you complete your island, the game could get stale quite quickly. Unless you're grinding the game for a specific goal like getting all treasures or getting a total of 1000 happiness level raises. I think the way to have fun in the game from now on is to keep on creating, and I feel like it could get old for people, especially the less creative ones, because imagine if you wanted to create something really complex like a Big Mac or a Triple Dipper or heck an entire book. Unfortunately, I'm not really that good of a drawer, so I have no idea how to create whatever Twitter is doing right now. Still not calling it X, by the way. I do have another problem. The fact that the baby has a montage of them growing up instead of having them gradually grow up before finally being handed the family album is quite upsetting for me. I have heard that reactions to this are mixed, but I'm more at the negative side of it in a way. I get that some people hated the baby minigames, and I can understand why. The frequency of the minigames are frustrating and it does get annoying, I gotta admit, but I wish that the minigames could be more leaning towards the point where it helps you to build an emotional connection to the baby, just like Nico with One Shot, where I guess some people just chose to let the world die and have Nico escape. Oh, and yeah, please let us edit the baby's face once they're born. It'll be a lot of help. Something that pisses me off to no end is the fact that the game doesn't keep records of the babies' names and the family album to revisit the montage. Like, come on, imagine if you have like 50 babies born, and then you can't even remember most of them. Not even I remember most of my babies from the 10 babies I had born, and if you can send the baby away, well, it's like the erase me button over again. No rewards in particular either. I would like to have them live on my island, but too bad I can't since I used all 70 Mii's. The 70 Mii limit is vague as well. I have seen people speculating that it might be the hardware limitations, but we have yet to hear an official reasoning on why. I think I already mentioned the fact that you would end up skipping cutscenes and dreams because there's not that much variety unless you add some pretty hilarious item with Pallet House. But even you can't really do that because of the lack of content sharing. So alongside the implementation of parental controls and such, there should be more variety in the dreams and cutscenes. There could be some classic dreams from the original brought back, and probably this game's version of the familiar dream. I really want to see more of these in the game, and some returning ones as well. Because only a few charming things have returned from the original, like the Me News, the photo studio, the marketplace, etc. But I know, people wanted the concert hall, or heck, a really good alternative to it, like the theater. The fan meetup for me is peak cafe discussion, but it's rarely even happens, since it's like you gotta get formies together and RNG, which could either turn out to be the punk pack or robot rally. I would probably consider it as a really buffed up version of the fan meetup, except that you can control the Mii's actions on what Mii does what. Give them an item, and oh boy, this got me thinking of a movie director feature like the one you see in Grand Theft Auto 5. Basically, it could be a building, and you get to pick a location in the island, and then you get to make a movie out of it. Oh boy, I love coming up with this idea, but yeah, more buildings can be added into the game. Didn't want my island to look like a ghost city after all with the abandoned buildings. Of course, I could mention more inclusivity like disability aids, more little quirks, and other stuff. I have a whole video about it on my channel if you guys want to check it out about what I think and more into it because this video is meant to reflect on the 1 month after the release date. But yeah, just hoping that the developers listen to the feedback about what we wanted because it would invalidate the point of a survey if they sent it out to people. Especially the fact that this game is priced at 60 bucks. People would expect content updates for it from time to time to have players coming back for more. We never know what secrets are the development team hiding, but it's like the AMD community begging for FSR 4 to be released on RDNA 2 and 3 till they finally got it. If they do not update the game, it will be like a punch in the face to the people that paid for it. Just saying. Overall, for the past month, yeah, the game is actually pretty good, but it's by no means perfect. Because there are some flaws that hold it back, and probably I may put the game down one day, which is something I fear. The funny thing was that I did order an RP 2040 somewhere today, but once the interest for the game dies down, well, it'll basically be nothing but a prop on my desk. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time. Probably till my island reaches level 1000 or something, and I can post a video about it. In the meantime, if the algorithm gets to you and you actually stuck till the end of the video, you're free to give out your thoughts and maybe give some ideas to what they can actually add to improve the game. I would love to hear it because I actually really love the community coming up with different ideas for a potential content update and such.